We are filming, chaps.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Well, we're thinking of starting it off just with saying. So we haven't made a video in a while, and it's because we were in rehab.
For
drugs.
drugs.
And then we all say for drugs at the same time.
I think that was good. I think we got it.
Is Kevin saying how we think we're going to start the video?
Okay, now we're gonna start the video.
Okay, now we're going to start the video.
Okay.
So what was
We
the
haven't made a
video?
review in a while because we haven't done any movie reviews in a while.
Oh, that wasn't the bit. You missed
For
it.
drugs.
For drugs.
For drugs.
Oh, we
drugs.
didn't say it at the same time. Alright, on three.
Okay.
Alright.
We haven't been making a
Two,
video for a while.
No, we'll cut this
Just
part
for
in.
drugs.
We already
Just
got
for
that.
drugs. Yeah.
We're just gonna do for drugs.
Everyone look at
On
the camera.
three.
Okay.
One, two, three.
So
On
I've been
drugs.
making a video for a while because of
Why
drugs.
are you still talking?
So today we watched a special film.
Our most anticipated film of 2018.
It might be. It's up there.
I think it's the most anticipated film of the
Alex had a
past-
few mules.
The past
Moscow.
I would say the past 2 years.
So Lover showed up in 2018 and it forgot all its color.
Lover is a movie directed by the kind of popular YouTuber Ralph Sepe Jr.
Ralph, otherwise known as Ralph.
Ralph the Movie Maker.
Currently sets at this amount of subscribers.
More
3
than we
years?
have.
Yeah, way
Definitely more. He's more popular and more liked than we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why we have to watch his movie.
Yes.
To see why he's so popular. So he filmed this movie, he shot it like 3 years ago, and then a bunch of film
He had a
festivals.
Kickstarter. He had a Kickstarter for like he got like
You got like
$12,000.
$12,000.
Yeah.
So our history with Ralph the Movie Maker, we discover him because he's got some interesting videos. Like sometimes like, oh, this YouTuber he doesn't like Wonder Woman either.
He's a contrarian similar to us. Like a lot of times, if we don't like a movie and we are against the world,
There's only one YouTuber that agrees with us.
he will be the one that is on our side. So like Wonder Woman's a great example. We didn't like Wonder Woman. The rest of the world did. He also did not love Wonder Woman.
He has these short films on his channel that he made like in high school or now or whatever, just like randomly scattered throughout his career, and they're all we love student film short films. That's like our bread and we love these
one of our
terrible,
favorite genres.
awfully made student films. It's like
student films
it
make the
makes
greatest
us makes us
stuff.
feel better about ourselves. Because
it's
we
that
suck.
and just like it's a special kind of bad.
Student films have such a unique level of
Bad.
complete incompetence.
Well,
We've also all been there.
You also
Yeah,
get,
no, we've all
you
been there.
also with student films you experience creativity at its worst,
Yes.
like at its most destructive and toxic.
And
like
I wouldn't even say it's most destructive and toxic. It's more it's most unfiltered. Like it's most like unrefined. You get people that have no idea what they're doing, just doing whatever they think
they just have
should.
an idea.
So
Yes.
the thing we like a lot about these student films, they all have like this is a very niche video, I feel like, but they all have their own unique like tropes. Like every bad student film has a gun in it and it's about drugs. And the best thing about Ralph Sepe Jr., Ralph the Movie Maker,
he
to
does
his friends,
it every time.
every time he has every single student film trope. Every time.
why does he have every short he has?
This, okay, so this is a romance.
He's going
By
to
the way,
watch
this
this
is
review.
you watch the trailer. This is a whatever.
No, I'm saying if you want to talk to him, you can go ahead and talk.
This
to
is
him.
a
Like,
romance,
can
and
tell.
we all were like, let's take a bet. When does the gun show up?
He said the scene that we were watching which was about
12
15 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Brian, you said,
I said
30. Kevin, you said 20, right?
He said 2025.
And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
And then I said specific. Or wait, no, I think.
No,
we
I think you
flipped.
said 31, and then
Oh
it
yeah,
was
yeah. I
27.
said 20 to
said-
25. He
It
said
was at the
31.
27-minute
Yeah,
mark.
yeah. Kevin was closer to 30, and then I said it was 40, and Kevin got the closest.
Yeah,
Kevin,
it came in at 27 minutes.
And he doesn't do
It's a
anything with that gun.
romance. It's a
Now,
romance.
now
movie.
we started making.
Well, it's a thriller.
We started making that bet before plot had even started. Like we
Yes.
had no idea what was
We
going
were
to.
just like, we know a gun will show up.
We just said this is a student film. A gun is going to show up. What time is it going to happen? And Kevin got it right. Like
Yeah, guns and
It
drugs
was.
definitely show up for no reason.
Kevin got it right within 3 minutes. Like he was like, it's gonna be here.
It's just listen, like, all right, so it's like write what you know. That's the most common phrase
yes.
for writers.
It
Write
is
what
also
you
the
know.
most common thing to ignore.
Yeah, and so it's like, right what you know, Ralph Sepe Jr., just looking at him, you look at his shorts, and before he moved out for college, he lives in this really, really nice house. He drives like a brand new Mercedes-Benz, so he clearly comes from money, but all of his movies are about drug dealers and gang members.
People that are like low.
Because those are the
killers.
movies he likes.
Yeah, those are the
Probably.
movies he likes, but he
It's 'cause he
should
likes
not
Quentin
try to make
Tarantino
those
movies.
movies because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. There's a part at the beginning of Lover where he tries to roofie a drink, but he doesn't crush up the roofie, he just drops a whole roofie in.
First impressions.
I knew it was going to be bad because all of Ralph Sepe Jr.'s work before this is terrible.
We were all very excited.
And yeah, I was extremely excited. I've been looking forward to this movie for a really long time. We bought the limited edition Blu-ray, which did not come in yet.
I cannot wait to listen to that director's
I can't wait till, oh my god. We might make a new review with the commentary.
A review of the commentary.
Yeah, and then, but we had to watch it as soon as it came out, so we got it on demand.
I own it now on digital, I own it on Vimeo, yeah.
So I was really, really excited, and I knew it was going to be terrible.
Ditto. Very excited. Well, I knew it was going to be bad, and it's shocking that it was actually worse than I thought. Because I knew, he got a real camera.
He bought a camera, he
bought
spent money
a
on it.
Black
That's
Knight
true.
Magic,
Going into it, we none of his shorts before had a Kickstarter.
There was color
Yes.
in the trailer.
Yes, I expected color in my first impression.
I expected some sort of... Because
I actually feel misled. Like, I would go as far as to say that I was gypped.
Because
something that we talk about right here that I want to expand upon a little bit more is the fact that in the original trailer, there are parts of the film that are in color and parts that are in black and white, whereas the final film only ends up being black and white. Ralph talks about this a little bit in a podcast that he did with I Hate Everything and Your Movie Sucks, and he claims that the reason was that every season in the movie had its own color palette, and one of them was black and white. So he said about a quarter of the movie ended up being in black and white originally. And then he decided that this was a hack student film idea and he tossed it, opted to make the entire thing black and white. That is a complete hack and student film thing. It would have been hilarious. I think we would have shit on it for an additional 30 minutes because that's just the funniest thing I've ever heard. But I think he made the right call making it all one color palette. I do not think that he should have made the entire thing in black and white. I think that really hurts the movie. It still feels like a student film thing because there are parts of the trailer that I do think look good. There are parts where the color really comes out. Now, there's a lot more of the trailer that looks awful and terrible and the colors really don't work. I think he should have worked with a real colorist and work to make the footage look as good as he can, but I understand why he made it in black and white. He opted for the easiest possible choice, and I think that it helps and hurts in different parts. I think hurts more than anything because it does not look good. It looks like a student film. Anyway, I'll let you get back to the scheduled programming. Enjoy the rest of the video. I'm gonna finish editing it.
like we watched King Candy, right? And we're like, it was shot in high school. Like, sure, it's gonna look bad.
It has excuses behind it. Where it's like,
but then it's like,
school.
Here's this one.
Shot
and we think
after
it's gonna
he
be bad.
graduated high school.
It's gonna be bad because it's his first movie or whatever. But it's like it looks just as bad as the one he shot in high school.
Yeah.
Like
Kevin,
there's no difference.
First impressions.
First impressions.
Going into it.
I knew it would be awful.
Kevin might be the only one of us that knew the future.
Yeah, like I go into this movie and I'm like, I mean, sure, I'm excited to see it because it's like
trash.
Yeah, like, you know, like we love watching bad shorts, and like I wasn't surprised in the least. It was like just one of his other projects, just longer, and I got
Kevin was right.
Yeah. I got exactly what I was expecting from it, so that was me.
In a similar boat as Sam Slade, I thought, you know, we'd seen some of Ralph Sepe Jr.'s other films. I thought it was going to be bad. I thought it was going to be shitty. But I was expecting some sort of up of quality. I was, like, King Candy was terrible.
He had the same audio problems.
I was expecting some, like, after $12,000, I was expecting some sort of quality upheaval where, like, you know, you're like, oh yeah, there was 12. I didn't notice. There were several shots throughout the movie where I'd be like,
the movie looked like it cost.
Can you tell that this was shot with a camera that was at least $700 more expensive than the camera he shot his previous films with?
The movie looks like it cost like $500. Like it looked
extremely
cheap and terrible.
Yes.
I have no idea where that money went. It wasn't to actors.
It wasn't to audio equipment.
Yeah, he probably didn't use any. He probably shot with camera audio.
Nothing happens in this movie for 40 minutes. But I'll
For
try.
an hour and 10 minutes.
So the movie opens. Ralph the Movie Maker's there. He plays a guy named Walrus or something, and
You were struggling to get that one out. Walrus is just a funny word. One thing I will say, just something you brought up, and I shut it down because I did not think you were going to be right about this, was you were like, Ralph, I'm glad he's actually playing like a bad person. Like he's playing
a villain.
a villain. Whereas
he
in
is
all
the
of his
villain.
other things, he's the coolest
he is
guy
the
ever.
villain of the story.
You know, like like in King Candy, he's this he's like
Yeah.
Cool.
Leonardo
criminal
DiCaprio.
man.
You know.
Yeah.
But in this, he like through and through, he's the villain. He's like
Yes.
Travis Bickle.
He's a bad character.
Yes, he's a bad person.
Well-
Yeah, he's a poorly written character. And Walrus is in the bathroom and he's looking at himself in the mirror and he's like amping him. He's like trying to prepare for a social interaction. And then
You've seen it before.
yeah, we've all seen it before. And then he drives up to this girl in the middle of the night and says, "Hey, are you going to this club?" And she says, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I've seen you there. Let me give you a ride." And this girl just gets in his car she just gets in his car. This complete and total stranger. And then he doesn't take her to the club. He takes her to a second location, which you never
Well,
let
they have a conversation in the
Yeah.
car ride.
They have one terribly written
They're like,
conversation
let's not
in the
go
car.
to that club. Let's go to your house.
And it was also just terrible because you could hear the audio mixing in the car. You could hear every little noise the car was making, and it was at the same volume as the dialogue.
Tell me a little about yourself.
What do you want to know?
Your name. Would be nice to
Yeah,
know.
right. My name's Delilah.
Oh, my name's Howard.
Oh, my dog's name was Howard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. What breed was he?
He's a Caucasian Shepherd.
Oh, that's cool. You got any pictures of him?
No, not on me. I have some in the house, but he died a really long time ago.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring it up.
No, that's fine. It was.
Bring back
It's
like
okay.
bad memories.
No, it was years ago.
So it was like I was really there.
You only
and
heard
not in a good way.
every other word. Well, usually when you're driving in a car, you can hear the people at the car.
Yes, it's true. So he takes her to a second location, which rookie move. Don't never go to a second location with a stranger. And
Yeah, rookie move on her part. Like,
Yeah, on her part.
yeah.
she deserved to be roofied. She should have got roofied in that.
So when he tries to roofie her drink, he just takes a whole pill, like the size of an Advil, and drops it in, and like she would notice she drank a pill. Like, have you
Yeah.
ever taken a pill before?
Pills do not dissolve immediately. Like if you're gonna roofie someone, you gotta crush it. first.
Especially in wine.
Yeah.
Not that we've ever roofied anyone.
Not that I've ever roofied anyone.
It's also just common sense.
This is when it gets even stupider. So she asks if he has, why he has two bathrooms.
We're at 17s.
And then the scene cuts, and it's a really awkward interaction. Like, there's no chemistry between them at all.
No.
There's no moment where you're like, oh, these two people are interested in each other, and then they
No.
just become friends.
Well, Brian kept bringing up the character of the driver in Drive.
Yeah, we brought up Drive the whole movie.
And how, like, both Ralph Sepe Jr.'s character in Lover and the driver in Driver are supposed to be both kind of awkward and silent protagonists.
Walrus.
And
Where they
how
Walrus.
and how Walrus and the driver are both, silent protagonists, but Walrus is just like a disgusting monster.
That's why his name is Walrus, because he looks like one.
Throughout the course of Drive, like, there is chemistry between the driver and the girl. Like,
Yeah,
you
he's like
see this
he comes
progression.
off as like shy and nervous. He plays with the kid.
And then when he becomes a violent monster, it makes sense. Like, you're not just like, where the fuck did that come from? You're like, oh, I could see that. Like, he was
They
kind
also
of
escalate his violence. Like,
Yes.
first he intimidates a guy, and then like later on there's a shootout, and then he protects himself from violence.
Well,
and then
I
his
would even
violence
say
gets worse.
further, like in the first scene, he sets himself up as like a no bullshit kind of guy.
'Cause
Like,
he's-
if
yeah.
you fuck with him, like he has no tolerance for it. Like, the way he's talking about, like, I will leave you if you pass this
Yeah.
time limit. Like, I will drive away.
But
Dude,
Ralph,
we get a montage with no dialogue with like phone footage also put in
so
it.
they go on a they're not a
they're
date
like
'cause they're
wandering
friends.
around doing stuff, and you're like,
So
I think they like each
but
other.
they
I
also
would say
don't-
directly comparing to Drive. So like the Lover has like a scene, a montage where they like take phone footage, and Drive has that scene where they
He's driving
drive
them in
through
the
the
canal.
riverbed.
Yeah.
That is way more interesting. Like just visually.
They
like
play a romantic song in Drive so you can tell the mood.
and also like he's literally doing something for the girl. Like he's showing the son a good time. Like he's doing this like thing where
Now-
like. If you were that kid, you'd be like, whoa, this is awesome. Like, if you were her, you'd be like, oh my god, this guy's like, he's not just trying to have sex with me, he's like, he's interested in, like, you know, my life.
Now
little
Ralph
bit.
trying
Sepe
to
Jr.
entertain
is
you.
just walking around with this ugly girl, and there's no dialogue. So the only dialogue that they have with each other at this point is really awkward and unsettling. And then when it looks like they're having a good time, there's no dialogue.
Yes.
And then they never have dialogue together that looks like they're having a good time the whole movie. So the only time they're having a good time and why they would be friends, there's no dialogue. So what the fuck?
To be fair, we're not trying to like compare this movie to Drive. Like we're not like that's unfair in most cases.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just that he's clearly trying to do something that Drive is trying to do, and you see
Well, he's a
if
really
you really want
quiet
a direct
character.
comparison why this Drive works and this movie doesn't.
You have to compare what each individual thing is trying to go for. Like Drive is trying to create this character that's kind of weird and kind of shy and unpredictable and later on violent, which is what you're doing, Ralph the Movie Maker. I know you're watching. and you know, and so that's the kind of comparison, is things like that.
But okay, so and then they become friends, and then they keep and then nothing happens for 30 minutes, where there's just scenes of him and the girl, and then the girl meets this guy in college. Also, she has a boyfriend, and so she lives with her boyfriend and his two roommates,
who are
And-
now drug dealers an hour in.
Yeah, I want to complain about, like,
Kyle's not scary.
So when we're
Ralph the
introduced
Movie Maker.
to the main female
Tell Kyle.
character's boyfriend, we're
Kyle.
introduced to all of his friends, who are all dressed in the most boring, like like honestly, the four of us right now are more interestingly character designed.
Well, we
than they
always
are.
dress when we make a video. Like usually we all dress.
But no, we like these are all
Yeah.
clothes we
I
would
actually
regularly
totally forgot we were
wear.
doing it.
But yeah, we talked about that during the movie. Is character design where there's
It's not
no,
even character design. They're dressed boring. Like it's further.
They're just
than
dressed
char-
in the stuff that they would be dressed in.
But like,
Like, and that stuff is important.
it's
you should
more
be.
boring than they could be. Like it's not even just regular dress.
No,
wear.
it's just that they all just wear casual
Yeah.
clothes.
Yes.
And it's just another thing that
And-
Ralph the Movie Maker didn't pay attention to. Like, he didn't pay attention to making the characters look distinct or dynamic or just pop in your brain. Again, the driver, he wears a fucking silk jacket with a scorpion on it.
Yes.
And Ralph the Movie Maker, the whole movie is just wearing white t-shirts and jeans.
Polo.
A polo and jeans. And, like,
Pants that are really big.
the villains, you know, the boyfriend and his buddies, all they wear the whole movie is just white t-shirts and basketball shorts. The whole movie.
Well, they look like drug dealers. He gets beaten up in the movie by all the drug dealers.
Oh yeah.
And that has no effect on the plot. Like, he doesn't look different.
Ralph the Movie Maker's hanging out with this girl, and the boyfriend gets jealous.
The
Ralph
drug
Movie-
dealer.
Yeah, so Ralph the Movie Maker, Walrus, goes home, and he finds out that these guys broke into his house.
This is within the first like 30
Yeah.
minutes. This is before the gun shows up.
This
And
is
then-
this is when
yeah.
winter starts.
And then they beat him with a baseball bat. And then they time skip to the next season, and he's
pulls out a gun.
and he's completely fine. You would think that they were beating him up because they were like, "Don't hang out with my girlfriend anymore." He immediately hangs out with her again, and
There's nothing.
she
stopping
calls him, and their conversation implies that he never stopped. Like,
Yes.
at no point did he stop. So if he's not, and he makes no effort to hide it. So if he made no effort to hide it in the first place, and they beat him up, why aren't they beating him
Maybe
up
he's
again?
trying to go with the point that like he didn't tell her, and he's like keeping that secret from her so he can kill them later. Is that what is he trying to do?
Well, I'm gonna guess that's what he's trying to do. I
it's not
still don't
conveyed
think
at
that
all.
makes any sense. Like,
It isn't conveyed at all. Like I don't get it. Like you also just can't tell he's been beaten up.
yeah, like I would say something interesting would be like
It's like it was a
if-
dream
if,
sequence.
if he got beaten up and there was like bruises all over himself.
And she's
and
like,
then-
what
and then
happened?
I would say like even if like he puts makeup on or something, like where he goes extensively out of his way to cover up the fact
And then
that
No,
there's
it's
a
fine.
and then for the whole movie he's hiding it.
Yeah.
And then she finds out like
And then
why
she
are you
finds
all beat
out.
up? And he's like, oh, I fell down
that
some
would
stairs.
that would be drama,
That's tension,
and
drama,
screenwriting,
like, intrigue.
yeah.
But then nothing happens.
No,
But
nothing.
none of
happens.
that
Just like at the
happens.
roofie, nothing.
So he shoots all these drug dealer men.
He kills all. Of
He
them.
said he has some
These-
great
these-
squibs,
these
some
people-
Children of Liberty level squibs.
Worse than
So
children.
here's the thing: Lover is trying to be a realistic film for the most part. Nothing about it is
Nitty and, dare I say, nitty.
And so when the squib goes off and he shoots you, you can see it spray on the wall, and it immediately starts to drip down on the wall, showing that it's mixed with water. And it's very obvious to me because
It
I'm
does
like,
look very watery.
I'm like, when blood gets on the wall, it sticks.
Kevin does
It
do
just-
our effects often. He does make that those cornstarchy.
Well, blood is.
You have too much water in there, dude. I'm just saying.
You too much water, you get a bad squib. We've seen those. We've done
Here's
those
the
bad squibs.
We've done bad squibs, but our movie is ridiculous. There's a guy that sells VHS and he shoots people in these crazy squibs.
Also, our
that shoot-
movie wasn't $12,000.
Yeah.
That too. So all those things included,
don't have any
like we
followers.
know that some of our effects aren't great, but we weren't trying to make a realistic film in that sense, or a full length film. You were trying to make both, and you failed.
Also, he kills.
Kevin's like personally, like he's like,
You
I know
failed,
you, I
Ralph
know you. I'm gonna
Sepe
tweet
Jr.
you till you watch this video.
He's going to look up Lover review, dude, and
Well, no,
if no one's gonna make
most
a
likely
review,
thing
we're
is
gonna
gonna be a fan of his sees it, and then he gets a bunch of fans that see it, and then
So one of my problems with the drug dealer scene, where he kills all those where Walrus kills those drug dealers, all right. So you're not supposed to be on Ralph the Movie Maker's side. You're not supposed to be on Walrus's side in the movie.
Whose side are you supposed to be on?
But nobody's. There's no one's side that you're supposed to take because the girl is stupid and there's no one supposed to. But anyway, regardless of that, so he goes to kill these drug dealers. So if Ralph the Movie Maker is still the main character, even though you're not supposed to agree with him morally, there's supposed to be tension. Like he's still supposed to you're supposed to be tense to see if he succeeds or not. Travis
like
Bickle's
what's gonna happen
an
next.
awful man, but in that ending, there's stakes. He's not just coasting through his plan.
no,
And
he gets shot.
yeah, he gets shot. In this movie, he just is in this drug dealer's house and just kills all three of them immediately.
Yes.
Like there's no
Also,
tension
you
at
didn't
all.
even know he was in the house. Like,
Yeah,
you're like,
they
what
just-
is he doing? And
they-
then it's
they-
like, oh, he's in that person's house.
Well, Ralph the Movie Maker does that a lot in his short films where he plays with the timeline and editing like a film student loser. Where you think like, oh, I'll play with the audience's expectations of the timeline. Where like you'll show a scene. So here's how Ralph the Movie Maker plays out in this movie, and he does. I can't think of a specific example, but I'm gonna guarantee he does this in another film with this, where he has his character doing one thing in a small room, and then you don't know where he is, and then you cut to characters doing another thing coming into a different room, and then they're like, what's going on here? And then it's like, oh shoot, that hit Ralph the Movie Maker's character is in the bathroom of the house that the other characters just walked into.
It on itself is not a bad idea. It doesn't hit you when like when you realize what's happening. You're like, oh, okay.
He's just bad at
Well,
conveying it.
because Ralph the Movie Maker, so here's
Comes
the
out
way
of
you play
nowhere.
that out, right? Is Ralph the Movie Maker should have been like, either A, he's like hiding there, like specific, like he's doing something that's like
He's either
creepy.
hiding there and you're like, he's hiding doing something creepy, or Ralph the Movie Maker is doing something and you're like, oh, he's just doing this thing.
Yeah,
And then you're like, oh no, he's doing this thing in that person's house.
yeah. Remember
just
that
not-
awesome scene in Blue Ruin, like the first scene where he's like taking a bath, and then he hears someone and he runs out of the
Because
bathtub.
he's just taking a bath in
He's
some
just taking a
stranger's
bath,
house.
and like that scene is like the perfect introduction of that character. Like you know almost everything you need to know about that character in that first scene,
Ralph the Movie Maker also
and
is
there's
trying
not a
to play.
single line of dialogue.
He's trying to play this really creepy, unsettling monster, but he just comes off as bored because he's not a good actor. So Ralph the Movie Maker, I'm talking to you now. I'm pulling at Kevin. Stop casting yourself.
You're not a good
That's something
actor,
we talked
brother.
about also is like he has a
Dude.
bunch of fans. He has other like he's got a school that he went to or he goes to. I don't know.
Dude,
He's
I
got
don't-
places like he can branch
You're
out
in
and
New
get
York,
actors.
dude.
You know.
Bounce ideas off people. Make it a group effort. Like
clearly you
multiple
have
people
not
in-
gotten better since you were 16.
But yeah, so he's a terrible actor. He's bad and he keeps casting himself. So like, that type of role is an advanced role. So like in King Candy, like what's his character? It's a pretty simple character.
He plays basically himself. it
Yeah,
feels
he's basically
But,
playing
like,
himself. He's just
violent.
like, oh, I'm a confident guy who eventually gets kind of confident. Like that's a layered performance in Lover, even though it's not written very well. It's just like, okay, he's this really dark, unsettling guy who
like wants love, but is like
but he
got
can't.
these deep seated like problems, and
What
he also is a murderer.
what does
American
And he just doesn't have the tools.
What does Walrus want? Like this is something
He wants that girl to love him.
But
I
no,
think,
no, no,
yeah.
no. Like so JJ, a film teacher that we all have had, well, the three of us have had, you know, one of the things he drilled into us was that each character should have a more ethereal want, like
Not just
something more
a-
metaphoric. Like what is it that they like? Greg in Unsubscribed, like what he wants is validation. Like that's his driving need is he needs validation. Something that's more
He
metaphoric.
wants to be wanted.
Yes. So what would be Walrus's want? What is the thing that he needs?
Well, yeah, every
More
character, like
love.
every main character needs a main want. It's a broad term. It's not just the dude wants his carpet back. It's the dude wants his life to be normal.
He
again.
wants to be left alone.
Yeah, like,
Except the dude literally just wants his rug back. Like that's the whole reason the
but
plot
that's
starts.
it's the whole thing though is
In the
he wants to
house.
get back to being normal. You know, like it is the rug, but it's like that is what's causing him not
He
to have
wants
his normal life again.
peace back in his life.
But
He wants
Ralph the
everything
Movie
to be
Maker
back
in
to
this
normal.
movie doesn't really like I don't really know what he wants.
exactly, like I cannot think of what he
Like
wants.
I think he wants the girl, but like at the same time, I'm like,
Why?
does he just want her to love him? Like, I
The
think
movie's
so.
called Lovers, so I assume that's.
I
what he
think
wants.
that's what it is, but like, there's so many points where I'm like, is it working with this girl? Like, is it like, cause when he kissed her that first time, I just assumed, oh yeah, they're just dating, like it's fine, like, but it's like, oh no, she doesn't like him. I had no idea, and then the rest of the movie, I'm like, oh, I had no idea that this girl wasn't interested in Ralph the Movie Maker.
Wait, was she not?
No,
Is that the point?
no, the whole point was she wasn't, and
Oh.
but you don't know that until that point. You can't tell.
Well, because she's also a bad actress.
Oh, I literally never picked that up.
No, yeah, like she was like, no, I want to be with my boyfriend. Then she broke up with her boyfriend and then got with another guy. And then Ralph was like, I'm going to kill those drug dealers.
I'm
No, I'm gonna
literally
kill that
learning
girl.
this for the first time, and I just watched the movie.
So anyway, after he kills those drug dealers, he
Dealers.
these girl like the girl's ignoring him, and then she's ignoring him for a while. So he kills the drug dealers, and then she calls them, and she says our favorite line of dialogue in the movie, which is, "Oh, I haven't been able to talk to people because I just got out of rehab."
I'm in rehab right now for drugs.
For drugs. Also, she just
she
starts
says
doing
this.
it. Also, they establish that she starts doing heroin like 5 minutes before that. The movie's going on for an hour.
Yeah,
and 10
because,
minutes
well,
at this point.
you find out that they're drug dealers, and then you're like, oh, interesting. And then you see her shooting up, and you're like, oh, she's having an overdose?
Yeah, no.
Does she do drugs?
But they established earlier, I guess, that she had done an
She,
overdose.
well, so, no, they said that earlier, but then they both laugh about it, like it's a joke. Wait, and then
we
the
have
ending
three
gets really
seasons
confusing, where this is my theory of what happened, is
Alright, so we're going to talk about the ending.
he
now.
beats the
We're
crap
talking
out
about
of
the
her and puts her underneath the boyfriend's house so that the
So
cops
he
show
o-
up and
he-
say that the boyfriend did it.
he
That's what I
only-
think. That would be so much more poignant if like we saw that scene where it's like, I'm so sorry that this man did this to you, and it's him.
Yeah.
Like I would actually see this
Yeah,
movie,
the
like this
last
terrible
ending.
movie, and if that's the ending, I'd be like, oh, I see where he got this idea. Like this is what he wanted to do.
he was building up to
There
the
isn't
scene
that,
where he
though.
talks to her.
Like there isn't anything, you know, like the.
yeah, so he
what is that ending
So he
without that?
kidnaps the girl that with him, and she doesn't know it's him because he's wearing a mask, and he comes up behind her, goes under the boyfriend's crawl space, puts her there, like cuts up her face, and then calls the cops on the boyfriend. But yeah, there's no part like the end of the movie should have been like no music, just him sitting there and telling her like.
Maybe a shot of the boyfriend getting arrested.
And he
Yeah,
could even
maybe a
say
shot of
like,
boyfriend
you know,
getting
like
arrested.
this kid's clearly like an incel type where like he feels like he's deserved and owed love. If he even said something like, "I would never do something like this to you," or "I will always protect
Like that would
you."
be such a haunting
I will
line.
always like if he just looked at her and he was just like,
Ralph-
"I will always protect you." Like I'll
Ralph the
always
Mo-
be there for you.
my problem with that is
But
It's
that
like the
doesn't
ending
happen.
of Phantom Thread.
my problem with that is like Ralph the Movie Maker could never play that character.
I
Like,
just
it's
want
something
like
that-
here's the I just want that scene though.
We're
Right,
saying
no,
that's
no.
what would make the ending make sense if
it
he
would,
had
it would
that
make
moment.
sense, but I still would be sitting here saying like it wouldn't work at all. You need Jake Gyllenhaal to be
No, but I would
delivering.
I would sit here.
It
and,
needs to be
and
Nightcrawler. Like you need.
I would still be here and be like, that's a good
Delivery
idea.
would sell it. Those scenes would have it make sense because right now it does not.
Like
yeah, we would.
to me, the way the ending stands, it's like he didn't know how this movie was going to end. But like if that was the ending, I'd be like, oh, he knew that from the start. Like this was the point he was trying to make. Where now the way it stands, it's like I don't see
He
what
made
it is.
this whole movie because he thought of that scene first. Like he thought that would.
But
be
I
a
don't
cool
think
scene.
I don't think that he did. I don't think he
Well,
even
because
realized.
that scene's not in the movie.
Yeah,
He's just
exactly.
sitting in their hospital bed, and then that's it.
So the lobster, right at the end of the lobster, like it's an ambiguous ending because all you see is just Rachel Weisz sitting
That's
at a
actually a
diner,
great example of a good
diner by
ambiguous ending, yeah.
herself. But
It's like,
it,
did he stab his eyeballs out or did he run away? Like
it
a
works
coward?
as an ambiguous ending. oh god, it could easily be either. I don't know what I want it to be, and then just drags it out, and then it ends. You're just like,
it leaves you thinking about it.
it leaves you thinking about it.
Well, it leaves
Not
you
confused,
not
thinking
confused.
about it.
Yes, exactly.
It also
There's a
is
difference.
it's great because it leaves you thinking about it, but not thinking about it as a plot thing. You think about it as a character decision.
Like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, what would that mean?
it's not
what would
what
that
happened
imply?
in the story. You think, what would that character
like,
do?
oh my god.
That's two different arcs that
even
just
like,
happened.
what does
I'm
that
not sure which
imply?
one it is.
Like, oh my god, like, what does this mean for the story? Like, it is left up to you to decide what it means for the rest of the story.
I think we accidentally came up with a better idea for the ending.
Like, it's not even the most original ending ever. It's just like it is a good ending though. Like that
it's an ending. It makes sense.
that's an idea. Like that is a solid idea to the rest of this movie. There's nothing like that there. There's no solid ending. There's no conclusion.
Yeah, the whole movie I was sitting there like, where is this gonna go? Like, what is it? I know he's gonna shoot a bunch of people, and he did, but like I was like, what is the point of this gonna be? And there isn't one.
All right, so SpaceX, Alec.
So I would give this
Final thoughts on SpaceX.
So my final thoughts was okay. So this is something I wanted to say because Ralph Sepe Jr. gives himself the cushion. When he announced that this movie was coming to VOD and Blu-ray, he made the distinguishment that he was 19 and 18 when he made this film, and you know there is something respectable about that. I think. You know, you're 18, you're 19, you want to be in the film industry, you go out, you make your own movie. I don't think that it's fair to just be like, okay, you know, when I was 18, I would have been way better, because we all were hacks when we were 18. We sucked ass.
Yeah.
But he has 500,000 subscribers, so I don't give a shit. He fucking blows. He, zero SpaceX, he can suck my cock.
The movie was very boring and it put me to sleep almost.
I'm falling asleep right now just
Oh yeah, it
talking
made
about
me very sleepy.
I'm getting more tired talking about it by the second, and I'm forgetting it at the same time. It's just like the files are just being shredded in the back of my brain. They're all going away.
Oh yeah, I
I'm
think my
forgetting the
brain's
girls'
just gonna-
names.
It's like
both of them.
file delete. So Kevin SpaceX, like out of 12, how many SpaceX?
Out of 12, definitely 8. Out of 12.
Okay.
All right, Sam said final thoughts. on SpaceX.
Final thoughts on SpaceX, pretty like, you know, aligned with what my final thoughts are. It's exactly what I wanted, so I'm going to give it a 12.
You wanted it to be terrible.
I knew it would be bad. I wanted it to be
It's gonna have a positive
it always does, dude. It is every single time, dude. So 12 SpaceX out of 12. What else would I want? No.
So this movie was a failure technically, like on a technical level, filmed
Yes.
every way, audio,
You have the power.
visual,
Audio, cinematography,
acting,
editing,
writing,
acting.
everything. Like
It was all in black and white for no, like, it's bad
it's
looking.
black
in
and white for absolutely no reason. There's no reason this movie.
Like
should be
it's a
black and
bad black and white. Well, it's probably because it looked terrible in color, and so he was like
Yes.
black and
Yeah.
white.
As an
He
act-
didn't know how to color grade it, so he just gave up.
As an actor, the performances in this movie disgusted me.
As someone
and
who's
insulted
colored something
me,
before, it was
annoyed the
insulting
shit
to
out of me. Like every aspect about the acting is absolutely terrible. The music is inappropriate and bad, and it's way too long despite being an hour and 20 minutes. And it's just I would say it's a failure in every way.
It could have been a 10-minute short film.
Yeah.
Yes.
It still would have been too long.
So SpaceX.
What's it out of?
12.
I think I'm gonna have to give it a 12. I don't hand them out often, but I give it a 12 out of 12. That's a positive
Video
score.
on demand. Go to Vimeo. You
12,
pay them $5.
8, 0.
See,
That's a
Lumber,
positive-
that's
a
a
positive
that's a
score.
positive score.
But
Won't
Ralph
make
the
it-
Movie Maker, you've done it again, you son of a bitch!
Out of the park.
Boom! Go watch Lover.